following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network. Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation. So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Joined as always by my co-host. He is the man with the shiniest mask in bowling. He uses the big red wiffle bat on a weekly basis. He is also the resident doctor of RTW. It is the one and only, everybody's favorite, Dr. Ocho. Good evening, sir.
You know, why am I not in the picture with you? I'm in pictures with Johnny. I'm in pictures with me, obviously, and Parker, because, you know, I'm clearly a big deal. But yet, I'm not the host also? Like, why is it not also saying the Straight Up 5 with just the Dr. Ocho and guests?
Put up the guns for a second. Oh,
no. This ain't about that.
No. Bear's here. He wants you to flex.
Don't worry. You don't talk to him that way.
He's my friend.
He only in Facebook terms.
That's true. That's fair.
You never had an 800 thrown on you when he was drunk, so screw you.
What was your question again?
There was no question. Let's go. Let's start the show, man. Hurry up. Oh, my
Also
God. It's like
us?
losing to Marvin? Oh, my God. It is like losing to Marvin. That's what this show is like. Losing to Marvin.
I don't know what that means.
That means, Chris Mancia knows what it means. He's
also joining us is,
will
you shut the fuck up and let me get
Chris
to Johnny.
Mancia's got Top Golf.
You tell me to move on, and then you keep interrupting me.
Hurry up. Quit with this dilly-dallying.
Go Indians.
They're
also joining us,
you dickhead.
They ain't guarding shit. Anyway, joining us is the third man of the team, but he is the man who runs this bitch. He is the sexiest man in the world. He was voted by the producers of Straight Up 5 as the best bowler on this show. He is the one and only, straight out of Vegas, Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. Good evening, sir.
Good to see you guys as always. Always a pleasure being here, and very much looking forward to tonight's episode. And that was a fantastic banter, and I agree with Chris Mancilla. It is like losing to Marvin.
I wish somebody would explain to me what the hell that means. But
you'd have to meet Marvin, understand.
Next week,
you know how Ocho knows everything. Like, you ask him a question, he has the answer. Marvin, like, can and do anything.
Okay,
it's kind of obnoxious, and then he's like really talented in everything. You don't really understand how or why. He just is. So
you don't understand because he can't speak it either. That's the other thing. So
sure,
even when he tries to explain
it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to listen to him. Yeah. But hey, Larry, hope all is well, bud.
Bear says poor Mark. Yeah. We were supposed to have two guests tonight, but only one is here now. And I mean, we're not gonna judge anybody. I'm
not
sure
ruling anything out yet.
I'm sure George has a lot to do tonight. I mean, he's a busy guy. But first off, our first special guest. Hold on. Sorry, Kevin. Hang on. This is very important. Keegan Tasker says, "Hey, I've already got 2 bronze medals at Special Olympics National Games here in Tasmania. About to start the teen squad in 15 minutes. Congratulations, Keegan. That's awesome."
Well, Keegan, congratulations. And here's from all of us on Straight Up 5, wishing you best of luck and team squad in 15 minutes. Go get him, dude.
All right. Our special guest. He is a very good left-handed bowler. Better than us, actually. Well, I mean, Ocho's right-handed, but he's still probably better than anyway.
I could bowl lefty better than most, so don't worry.
He has 20 junior titles. His high series is 868. I couldn't do that in 70 games. He has 19 300s and 9 800s.
That's your cholesterol, Rob.
He has one CUTBA title. And he's God damn it, I can't read your writing, Johnny. I'm supposed to fucking get this guy his props.
Wasn't it a text message? How can you not read it?
Oh,
he drew it on paper because he's fucking lazy.
Stop it.
Colorado,
So
Utah,
is that really,
Nevada Tournament Bowling
Is that really your
Association.
cholesterol?
Is that really
We're
a
just
thing?
letting you know what CUTBA
That's what a
stands
CUT.
for.
That's what a
Colorado, Utah, Nevada
CUTBA is.
Tournament Bowling. You can't read that.
No, not really.
He thought it said "see you next Tuesday."
Oh, Ocho, no, he didn't say that.
Oh, and then there he is. Okay. Joining us now is the one and only Kevin Beers. Good evening, Kevin. Thanks for waiting, buddy.
Greatest
What's going on, guys?
ever.
Good to have you here.
special.
I hope I give you it really wasn't a proper opening. I suck at this. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Welcome
good.
to the show. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Don't worry, Sibo. It's just crystal light. I promise.
And Ocho is now
I
outnumbered
promise.
by lefties 3-1. How about that?
Fight. Finally.
Perfect.
true.
If
No,
George
that's true.
does make it, which I hope everything is okay, we've really got Ocho outnumbered tonight.
Michael Marciano.
I brought my buddies with me.
What's up,
Rocky
Mikey?
Marciano.
Kilo Labs, baby. Kilo Labs.
Johnny,
Yes, sir.
where did you meet Kevin and how long have you known him?
You know, that's a great question. I don't actually know when I officially met you, Kev. Do you know when we met
Last week.
officially? Was it out here in Vegas, or did we cross
No, it's
paths
got to be
east?
back in
That was
Jersey.
supposed to be a tough question. That was supposed to be it was a layup.
It was really. I mean,
Yeah, it's actually kind of a tough question, but we definitely well, certainly for the entire time that we've been out here in Vegas, I want to say you moved here not too long after I moved here. How long have you been out here now?
About 8 years.
Yeah, it's been just over 10 for me. So certainly have
Excuse
been,
me.
closer friends over this past decade. Prior to that, I'm sure we crossed paths at some tournaments back home, but
Absolutely.
yeah, the majority of our friendship actually has been out here. While I was still working in pro shops, I drilled some of Kevin's equipment, screwed around with some, different grips and all that. And
Home run Bader!
oh, that's right, the game. But long story short, I kind of wanted him and George on the show because not only, lefties always stick together, but we're all kind of different lefties. We're not traditional left-handers. We all really, really hate doing what a regular lefty does. And in lieu of what happened this last weekend at the 777 tournament out here, I found myself being even more curious about kind of the thoughts and processes and little quirks and triggers that fellow lefties that like to do the same shit that I do bring to the table also. So I figured it would make for a good interactive show tonight. How you doing, John? Good to see you, bro.
Hey, what do you mean
And-
by what lefties normally do? Do you mean straight up five kind of thing? Like
Like Rob.
Big dots
yeah,
like
Rob-
Mero.
Rob
Like
doesn't even
Rad
get to the
Rob.
bowling alley. He gets to the Popeyes first. Come on.
oh Jesus Christ, dude. Seriously, dude. You're already going with the fat jokes.
Lefties that prefer to see the lane right to left rather than at the pins,
Correct. Go in.
unless we're forced to and have to. And so that was like kind of my basis behind wanting to select these guys. Yeah. Thank you, Roger.
Roger
you.
says, he says,
Oh shit, he's ripping on Sperone. I just
lefty. It doesn't do what Johnny does. That's pretty hilarious. So, Johnny, you said you had a very surreal moment, probably the most surreal moment or night in your bowling career. Monday night. I'm assuming it's.
It
you
was
want to,
Saturday.
It was a Saturday. Okay. That was your amazing performance, correct?
Yeah, it was.
This was a one-off too. This is tourney style. This ain't just you rolling in on league and doing your thing, right? This is like
No, this was 7 games, entry fee, moving pairs every game, couple 81 entries, couple PBA pros were there bowling, and
how many people in wheelchairs?
none at this event. None at this event.
I mean, just
Hold on. Time out. Ocho, no spoilers. Dave Peacock's on time delay.
Dave Peacock can push fast forward. This is horse shit. You're watching a live show. You're getting live updates, buddy.
That's nice.
Stephanie's in the house. John made me cry Monday night with all that business.
Yeah, Steph always makes me feel 10 times better than I already do.
Me too.
There's your favorite.
My
I know
favorite-
Nicole
my
Neff's your
favorite
favorite, but
name.
here's Cheeks for you.
That's it.
Hi, Deanna.
My perfect name.
Rob, honestly, what happened was from the minute I walked in the building, first off, it was the South Point 400 NASCAR race this week. So South Point is always packed during race time.
Right.
And Tisha Haynes, David Haynes' wife, the director of the tournament, alerted everybody of the South Point 400 that you may want to get there a little bit early. Parking is going to be a bitch. So I get there at around 5 o'clock. Tournament's at 7. And I get, when I say the furthest possible spot from the arena. And now, because I only have one triple roller and one double tote, because like I said, I'm a hack bowler these days. I'm bringing 6 bowling balls in. I put one ball in my backpack, 2 on my shoulder, and I'm rolling a slim triple. So legit it's so fucking heavy. I'm so irritated that I have to do it. But I get up to the arena. Now it's like 5:15, 5:20. And now I got an hour and a half or an hour and 15 minutes before I got to go upstairs and bowl. I did what John does to control his confidence in his brain, and I had some swing lube. I put some swing lube in my system to the tune of some Cuervo Gold. And by the time I made it back upstairs at 7 to bowl the tournament, I'm starting on the end pair. I'm on 29 and 30, and I'm bowling with Ari Wilson and David Haynes, and I got Anthony Simonson on my left. Kev, where did you start? Do you remember where you started?
I was on the other side.
That's right. And I'm up there, and I said, you know what? I'm going to have a little bit more swing lube. And I did before we started. And by the time I got into practice, there was no getting loose. I didn't have to really warm up at all. My body was already warm. All the juices were already flowing, like Bear just said. Hang on, let me answer Keegan's questions here before I keep going, because I also want to, again, Kev, in case I didn't tell you, part of this show is about talking about what happened this weekend, but we're certainly going to feed into you, get questions from the viewers. I already have a bunch of things that I want to ask you, and so do the guys.
They ask me tons of stuff every week, so I'm hammered every week for this stuff.
Keegan wants to know if it's acceptable to take 7 balls to league as a lefty like myself. Everyone says it's not necessary. Your thoughts? I do not believe it's necessary. Is there anything wrong with it? Absolutely not. You could bring 2 carts into the bowling alley if you want. In a 3-game league session, Keegan, bringing 7 bowling balls on what's typically a pretty playable oil condition, sometimes bringing too many bowling balls is overkill. So a lot of times in a 10-minute warm-up and you only get like 10, 11 shots to throw, if you throw all 7 bowling balls, by the time practice is over, you're not really sure which one to start with, which one to transition to, and before you know it, half the first game is gone and you're still fiddling with bowling balls. So 3 or 4 is usually a safer number. 7, I do believe, is unnecessary, but you do whatever you want. It's your life, and fuck everybody else. I did not throw a purple hammer in that tournament. I want to be the first one to say that. I did not throw a purple hammer. But anyway, back to the story. From the first shot in practice, everything felt right. I had just earlier that day, I went to David Haynes Pro Shop and I drilled a Brunswick Attitude Control, which is a pearl urethane, and I drilled a Defender Hybrid. And I had those 2 balls along with my go-tos, which are my Ocean Vibe, my Stealth, my T-Zone, and I did bring a purple hammer just in case. I had a look with plastic up the gutter. I had a look with the Attitude Control somewhere around 12, 13, 14 at the arrows. And I had a look with the Defender playing inside the 3rd arrow. And I looked at Simo and I looked at Ari before the tournament started. And I said, I always make the wrong decision in this building. I always bowl well in this building, but I always start with the wrong ball in this building. And against my better judgment, I started with urethane anyway, just because I said to myself, at least I can control the hole, control the pocket a little bit with this ball. And I come out of the gates with the front 9, and I leave a ring 7 in the 10th frame and bowl 279. Second game, we moved to 31 and 32, which is right on the other side against the other wall. And I start with the front 11. and I leave a flat 7-pin again for 299, and I actually lost the high game pot to Richard Jones that game.
Oh my God! How do you lose a high game? I lost a hole in one, the closest to the pin on a hole in one time. That's bullshit.
Brutal.
That should never happen.
That is bullshit.
The
The third game, spare, double, spare, 9 frame. I think I left a 6-pin, 247. And we go into the next game. I had back-to-back 7 pins in the middle of starting with the front 6.
Well, hang on, JP. When you throw 247, are you saying, "Oh no, I'm losing it," or you still feel good and you know you're in the pocket? I mean, I'm kind of. It's a little rhetorical, but I'm curious about your thought process at this point because you've just banged everything for 2 straight games.
That's a great question because, for instance, in South Point, if you shoot 300, it's a $100 bonus. If you shoot 800, it's $300. So in league, excuse me, when you make the turn with 578 in league, you are saying to yourself, it's so embarrassing if I don't shoot 222 right now. Not to mention, like, anybody could use an extra $300, but like you're supposed to bowl 220 after you turn 570, right? To me, that mentality didn't exist at all. I just said to myself, I'm in the lead. It's a high scoring pace. Anybody can bowl back-to-back 260s. At this point, I'm like, just bowl. Like, I was not really thinking about anything other than visualizing every shot that I threw. So the thought in my brain after the 247 was I'm 2 1/4 over after 3 games.
And you still felt good. You were still lined up. You were still, honed in. There wasn't any like, I should have moved a board this way or nothing like that, huh?
No. There were a couple shots that I threw that I could have moved a little bit, but for me in that building, the heads are so crisp and the ball shoots through the front so easily that for me, my moves are more often front to back, stay a little bit more under it, give it a little bit more finger at the bottom, give it a little bit more reach through the follow through. It's usually more speed control front to back for me.
So you're walking into game 4 going, all right, no big deal. Let's keep the throttle down, basically.
Yeah, and ironically, this is one thing that I actually wanted to get Kevin's take on also before I continue on stealing the show with the night that I had.
I want you to. I want to lay back and just let you kind of handle this tonight.
And towards the end of that game, or excuse me, the start of the 4th game, Anthony Simonson and Ari Wilson both opened the next game throwing urethane backup. They both tried to throw urethane backup. They tried to do what I was doing and make the ball hook backwards. And obviously, we know Anthony Simonson's a PBA champion doing that. Ari's also extremely talented at doing that. But typical left-handed mentality when something like that happens is that's really shitty. Like it's shitty to do. Like part of me was like immature younger me would have said, dude, I'm 225 over. You're on my pair. You're even. You're going to fuck me because you're not going to be able to shoot when I'm shooting doing that no matter what. It's against the laws of physics, right?
Yep.
But I didn't take it that way, not even an ounce. If anything, I took it more as like a confidence booster. I said, if Jason Belmonte doesn't exist, I have the greatest bowler in the world on my left trying to do what I'm doing because it's the best way for him to make money tonight. And Ari happens to be Anthony's best friend and also does what Anthony does. He's a 2-hander. So I actually took it more as
that's an homage, basically.
It was up.
We're so up. Yeah, we have to do what this guy's doing because he is killing it right now, and his line is freaking dead accurate.
It was uplifting, and it also made me believe, again, I've got swing lube. Cuervo's flowing. It gave me the confidence to say, if they're already thinking in game 3 that they have no chance to beat me, the only thing I have to do right now is just continue bowling. And that's exactly what I did. I shot 2 spares the next game for 268, 3 spares the following game for 256. The next game, game 7, was the most fun game of the night because Anthony Simonson, myself, and David Haynes all had the front 9 right next to each other in the arena. Haynes leaves a 10-pin, shoots 279. I go strike 6-pin for 289, and Anthony bowls 300. Lost that fucking high game pot too. And then
This
the
is awful.
and
How
then the
far are you
last,
ahead by now at this point? You're just game 6 or 7 games you said total, right?
at that point, the kid in the guy that finished second is a guy named Andrew Sporin, who bowled fantastic through a Storm IQ tour the whole tournament. He finished the tournament at plus 413. He averaged just under 260. And then third place was somewhere around like plus 250 or so. So I was 250 ahead of third, and I wound up finishing just about 100 pins ahead of second. The last game started with the front 6, really threw a bad shot and only left a 6-8 split, missed it, and struck out for 266. So like Jerry Johnson said, I bowled back-to-back 800s with a 266 kicker en route to averaging 272. And in typical left-handed fashion, I moved my feet 0 times, and I shot at 10 spares in like 3.5, 4 hours.
Thank God.
It was, and what's so crazy about it is the previous event, the same event that I bowled 280 the last game to go plus 80. I was actually even for the first 6 games. Never had a hard time getting to the pocket, just could not knock the friggin' pins down, just could not do it. But it was absolutely, yeah, like Roger says, it was humbling. It was humbling to watch Simo try and mimic what I was doing. And like Kyle says, imitation is certainly a form of flattery. But the thing that spawned my interest in having Kevin on the show is because Kevin and I both seem to have those days when we're in there and in that plaza especially, and some days we absolutely murder them, and some days we hit the hole all day and we just cannot strike. We cannot get the angle. So yep. I wanted to kind of get his take on that, just to like throw him into the fire right here, right now.
So I was pretty much throwing urethane the whole day. I couldn't really get in and shape the ball. I was by myself, but the balls that I have, I didn't need to drill new equipment too, but I just couldn't get the right shape. So I stayed out, played urethane, and I just couldn't 8 pins, 9 pins, 7 pins. I just couldn't get the games to go. But I went like 120 over, but not good, not great, not enough to cash. But I mean, it's respectable. But
do you happen to know what the cash number was?
I think it was like 170 over.
170. Do you know how many spots they paid?
15, I believe.
15. Hi, Sherry. I just realized the comments are coming up on this side. This is really, really, or that side. It's really awesome.
This is kind of cool. It's a whole new thing. Like StreamYard didn't have this. It's got an overlay.
Greg Thompson says he would have thrown it up the left too. We're always taught to try to do what the leader is doing if they're struggling. If it's a lefty, then so be it. Should never be his disrespect. Totally agree. And like I'm kicking young me's ass forever thinking that way to even begin with. So it's actually like I said, it was one of the best possible things that could have happened to me that night. Not to mention those are 2 of my buddies also, you know. It was really awesome. Kev, what do you attribute your lack of carry to? I'm talking about that plaza. I'm talking about like when you're leaving 7 pins, are you leaving flat 7s? Are you leaving ring 7s followed by stone 8s and then 6-8? And it's like, take my shoes off. I'm ready to throw my shit in the locker and just get the fuck out of here. Yeah. I mean, like, and what do you think, like when you sit back and analyze it, what do you think you need to try and do differently the next time you combat a pattern in that building? Because let's face it, no matter what pattern they put out in the plaza, there's 2 angles to the pocket that work in there. Up and at him or completely rainbowing around them. Anywhere in between, it's very easy to hit the pocket, but it's very, very hard to strike.
It's either flat or steep, basically, you're saying. It's
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to just move a little bit. I mean, I go ring 7s and then I move. I try and, move left, move right, try and do a little hand manipulation to try and get it to go. Sometimes it doesn't. Like this last one, no matter what I did, little manipulation, ball change, it just wouldn't go. So I ended up switching to plastic to try and get it to read. I moved further out because I could not move in. I could not move in at all because it would not shape. I just couldn't see the lane right. So I had to stay further out, and I knew that. And just use plastic and get it to read. And I shot 250, and then 230 with plastic. So,
Wow.
I mean,
that's impressive.
You know, what's funny is everybody always teases me about plastic because it's my best look in the arena. It's the previous event when I said I went 80 over. I went 80 over because I switched to my Indigo Swirl T-Zone the last game and shot 280. It's the only reason I went over. So I totally understand that also. It's, what was I going to say here?
And a lot of people view it as giving up when you use your plastic ball, but it's another ball you bring in your bag.
It's the most important ball in your bag. And unless you're Norm Duke and you just don't need it ever. But let's read some of these comments. Navalis Patrick, I would have thrown it like Johnny Sr. Absolutely. I've been trying to throw it like Johnny Sr. my whole life, which is why I'm a lush loser schmuck, because I can't do it. Jason Boyer, I think that's one of your homies, Kev.
Oh, yeah.
He says you should rip the cover off the ball. Now, is he referencing the fact that maybe you used to and you've tried to be a little more conservative when you let the ball go these days, or what?
That's what he does. He's a lefty, too. He tears the cover off of it.
There's another guy that knows talent, Jerry Johnson, saying Beers is a great bowler, too. Absolutely, JJ. That's why I wanted him on here. It's beautiful to watch, and I always like to get some insight from all bowlers, but especially a lefty that is close, similar to me in rev rate, especially when my thumb is in the ball. I mean, we had a lot more similarities when my thumb was in the ball as opposed to my thumb out of it. Kevin throws it harder than me, but he's got so much natural hand with his thumb in the ball that it's very, very impressive to watch somebody that can go dead up the lane with urethane and plastic, but can also swing the whole lane if he has to.
Frank, you told me that you really love watching Kevin bowl. I mean, you said you really love watching Kevin bowl. He just has a beautiful style.
Yeah, I always have. He's the few things that I've always lacked in my bowling game is when I was 13, my backswing used to be straight as an arrow. Like, it was really, really perfect. And then when I got into like 15, 16 years old, I went from 5'2", 170 pounds to 6 feet, 180 pounds. And all of a sudden my swing just went dead west, just completely went, like I would push the ball away and the swing would go that way. It made absolutely, I just couldn't get through my growth spurt. And throughout my entire career, I developed some kind of a loop, and I could never, ever, ever get my arm under my shoulder unless I took my thumb out of the ball. And Kevin's arm swing is, I don't know for anybody listening, but Kevin's backswing reminds me of Chris Hester from Kentucky. If anybody's ever watched Chris Hester bowl, it's that long, very relaxed, free, dead straight pendulum swing. So the ball has to go somewhere on the desired line almost every single time he lets it go. So that's something that I admire because it's one of the things that is so, so hard for me to do. My swing, I have great days and I have horrible days because my swing is never really under control. A lot of it has to do with my choices in weightlifting. I'm certainly a little too wide up top to get as close to myself as I used to. Not as wide as Ocho. Fine guy.
Nobody is.
But there are other times that when it does work and the lanes allow it to work, everything works perfectly. So that's really.
Hey, doesn't Walter Ray have a little bit of a loop without the lats though?
Yeah,
he's just a taller guy. So
there's nothing wrong with a loop. I mean, there's some of the greatest bowlers in the world have an inside-out arm swing. Jordan Arrow says Darius and I both said, well, the day's over after 4. And you know what's so crazy about that is I thought so too. But Andrew Sporin just kept on striking, man. I mean, the guy averaged – I think we got to throw a little bit of credit to that kid because not only is he a nice man, I mean, I enjoyed talking to him when the tournament was over, but he averaged 260, guys, 260. Like, I know what I averaged. I get it, but he averaged 260.
Spoken like such
games.
such a humble winner, which also just accentuates how good you were. And it's literally the ultimate putover. Like, this guy is so damn amazing. I beat him. This guy, and I know you're not saying that. This is just me throwing my freaking.
That's why I say, Och, it's surreal because I still can't believe it happened. I still cannot believe it happened.
We thought you fell asleep on your phone when you threw the text out. Like, you feel he's just ass dialing or something. He's probably having a dream about dirt bikes or something like that.
Dude, I think about like when Eugene McCune set the scoring record at South Point in the regular bowling alley on Cheetah when he averaged, Kevin, what was it, 270?
So yeah, something like that.
He averaged 270, and I don't remember for how many games. If anybody knows it, please shout it out. If anybody knows what Eugene McCune shot at South Point, or like the days when Rhino was setting all those records, or like the thought of me doing it, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So that's why I'm giving more credit to Andrew than me, because it was just one of those days. I was in another dimension. I put $20 into a slot machine and I hit $1 million. That's like the odds of that happening, to at least in my eyes.
Well, the odds if you don't have the talent are very slim, but if you have been known to put it together on occasion, and we know where you're at. Like, bowling's it's your passion, it's where you are, but we know your exercise is important. You're into nutrition. You have so many other avenues that you tackle that there's no full time, but there's still that underlying, I guess, innate intelligence that just said, you know what, I've been here before. Damn, I feel good, and I'm gonna ride this shit out. Whether you felt it or not, I mean, it's still kind of wild that not many people can do that. So, and I don't ever compliment you. You know that. I dog you every day.
Yeah, no, you suck.
In case anybody is curious, got an update from GG3 George Hohagen. Currently taking care of the children while his wife is on a work call, and he will get here as quickly as he possibly can. I said, no problem, man. Obviously, family comes first. Totally cool.
Anyway, I got to put my kid outside in the pool so we can do a show, but he can skip one freaking, he's on a one-off, and he can't do, oh my God.
At least you let her go in the pool this time. I think last week you just made her sit on the deck or something.
No, it was just, she was just outside. The pool's not heated, though. It's I'm hoping that the sheet of ice doesn't break.
Roger Meany just said that Eugene was 24-68 for 8. Let's do some quick math, not with your
9
clock,
games,
John.
actually. He corrected himself. 9 games.
For 9?
Yeah.
So that comes to 274.2. That's ridiculous.
Shake that off.
That's ridiculous. Oh, my God.
What kind of crazy guy would average 272 over 9 games, or 7 for that matter?
Kevin, were you aware of how good Johnny was bowling during all this, or were you just pretty much paying attention to your own game?
No, I was peeking over the whole time. I went to go talk to him, but he was in such a zone. I just left him alone.
Yeah.
Actually, let me ask you this: did you guys have a number in your head then, knowing that the scoring pace was high? Were you guys saying like, all right, I have to be such and such over? It's a big thing in golf, like knowing the number. I think in bowling it is too, if I'm not mistaken. You know, at a tournament, you guys get an idea of the scoring pace, and you're like, yeah, plus 300 is the cut or something, or you get an idea. Did you guys have any of that in your head, or because it was such a fast pace that you didn't really even have time to think about it?
Kev, I'll let you answer first.
I mean, at least 300 over. I mean, with the caliber of bowlers, but I mean, it's so fast paced. You're just going as you go. So, I mean, you just have to bowl the best you can as quick as you can.
Congratulations to Jason Boyer's younger brother, who just broke the house record at Limerick Bowl, 300, 279. Awesome. Congratulations. That's absolutely
I did see that.
Fantastic. My response to that question is, and again, I'm just going based off this past tournament. When I'm bowling that well, I don't give a fuck about the number. I am so happy that I'm
so
bowling
jacked
well.
up that you're in the zone right now.
I like at that point, I'm like, look, if this don't make me money, it's okay, because I'm going to leave here today and say I actually executed today. I actually felt good today.
Well, I saw the video, Johnny, of you. I saw the video of you on your Facebook page. I mean, you were throwing a ball brilliantly. I mean, it was beautiful to watch.
He's the one that filmed them. Kevin's
job,
the one that sent me the videos. I was so happy about it, because what I try and explain to people is, and I'll use this one for an example. And Larry Stella, you might be the only person on this planet that knows more about something than Ocho knows about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's bowling.
And everything.
I think if we put Larry Stella up against anybody in bowling history quiz shows, nobody beats him. He is that's how much I feel you know about bowling. Yes.
Can you get
Where
to
was-
Stephanie's question before you
Sure.
continue on, please?
If you said this and I missed it, I apologize. What did you bowl on? Not that it takes away from averaging 272. Just curious. I want to say it was a very slightly modified South Point Plaza house shot. Would you say that was right, Kev?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't Dead Nuts house shot.
Yeah, it wasn't. There was. It's it's crazy. If it was Dead Nuts house shot, I don't think I would have averaged 270. I think I would have averaged 220.
226.
Wouldn't the righties have killed that shot then, right? Most likely. I'm not doing a lefty righty shit or anything like that, but I think you've always said that it the way the house breaks down is opened up for. I mean, plus there's a lot more righties with the hold and with the breakdown of it.
It's tricky. There's more right-handers, so like the right-handers always say, you got to stay close for the first few games until they open up or they break down, and then you can.
And then they swirl your guys' lineup too.
But then what they forget is, like, as they're saying that, they say, "Oh, you're on the left. Nothing ever changes." You're sitting here telling me you need the lanes to change in order to strike. Well, They never change for us. What if they suck in game one? So, but anyway, that's if you really want to,
dude. That should be like on a shirt, because that's such a good point. Yeah. Oh, you don't have to move. Yeah, I don't have anywhere to go because I got no shot.
But what I was going to say about, there are also certain buildings that certain rules don't apply, i.e., the South Point Plaza and the National Bowling Stadium. In those two buildings, it's good to be lefty. And I'll be the first one to admit it. It is good to be left-handed in those buildings. There's several more, that I can't think of off the top of my head, but those are certainly that's Kobe and Shaq as far as the two buildings that that are built. They are lefty sewers, so to speak. And like Jason says, if the left is good, it's good. But if the left is bad, we have no chance.
No chance.
That's always been the case. And unfortunately, what we hear most of the time, we never hear about how well we bowl unless we bowl astronomical numbers. We only hear about when we get shut out. Nobody ever says, "Oh God, the left sucked."
That must have been tough. Yeah, when you're 1 out of every 12 tournaments comes through where you actually have a shot to actually cash. Oh, these damn lefties! Oh, how dare they?
Yeah.
Like, give me a break, man. Let me have one freaking tournament where I just want to compete. I'm not trying to freaking steal people's food off their table. Give me a shot at least.
I'm glad you brought that up.
It looks like there may be somebody else waiting in the green room to join the conversation.
That is correct, Johnny. It's Ocho's mom. Should we bring her
Hey.
It was her birthday yesterday. Don't you dare disparage her.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Ocho, or Ocho's mom. What should I call her?
You don't even address her.
I'm with Ocho on this one.
The
mother's out of this.
We'll get off mom's because I just got off his.
And we don't want Roger Meany to get mad, and he's already writing wow, so we have to leave the mom comments alone.
All right. Joining us is our other special guest. He is a two-time USBC Eagle winner from in 06 and 07. He has 2 PBA regional titles. His highest series is 899, and supposedly we have to ask him about that because there might be some shenanigans behind that. So, without further ado, let's bring in Mr. George Hohagen III. Good evening, George. Glad you're here.
What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing?
Good, man. Good to see you.
We are doing well. So, let's get to the hard topics right off the bat. What's up with the 899 you threw in? And Johnny says there's possibly an asterisk next to it.
Yeah, so we had a bowl in the league, and they had a real big snowstorm the week before. So basically, like 80% of the league stayed after league the next week to make up, and I bowled 899.
Hell yeah!
But it was
that still counts. If anything, you're worn out.
Unfortunately, it was right after that Robert Mushter situation. So the USBC did away with all post bowling, pre bowling honor scores.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, if a tree falls in the woods, does anybody around to hear it? So, I mean, how do we know you
Are
made
those-
the shot?
Let's just say there's an amateur listening. Who's the guy you're referring to and what happened? Not me. Let's just say there's an amateur listening that doesn't know about Robert Mustard.
Basically, the guy bowled a bunch of 900s in his dad's bowling alley by himself.
Oh,
That's
and
exactly
they counted them? They were like
Right.
sanctioned?
Yeah,
I mean,
they counted them. They counted 2 of them, but he like turned in like 5 or 6 of them.
did he just push the scoreboard and say like he made strikes the whole way, or was there any visit?
I mean, nobody knows because, like I said, his dad owns the bowling alley,
All right.
and he pre-bowled and bowled 900. Then he pre-bowled again and bowled 900, and the USBC accepted 2 of them. Then they made that rule, and if you've ever seen the guy bowl, I don't think he can bowl 599.
That's exactly what I was just. That's exactly what I was just going to say.
The USBC done in the last like 5 years? Like the USBC, there's never anything good where they're like, and the USBC did this, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. No, they just do dumb shit. Like let a guy who owns a mustard factory print out freaking 300 and 900, say, oh, you're sanctioned. And now they freaking steal Belmo's balls and check them for their softness, which only a doctor should be doing. Nonsense.
Yeah, what George said about, because I watched Robert Muster about mustard.
Oh,
I watched even I probably said it wrong now, but anyway, I watched him bowl after I heard that he bowled multiple 900s also, and I watched him throw 3 shots, and I went, "The fuck out of here! No, he can't. No, he can't shoot. No." So anyway,
unless he's doing
it
like
sucks.
Ishmael.
It sucks that you take one of the most talented bowlers in the world and you discredit something because of somebody else's cheating that was accepted by the governing body of the fucking sport. Give me a break.
What if
See,
he
now I'm
did?
getting
What
pissed.
if he saw Kingpin and he was like, "I'm just like Ishmael, and I bowl 15 frames, and I wound up having to bowl a 900, and it took me a while."
I don't even think he could get there with 15 frame. That guy.
Oh shit! All right, then this guy's.
Have you seen the new Liberty Mutual commercial with Limu, Emu, and Doug bowling?
Yeah.
Maybe that's how he bowled it. He got the emu to just peck at the pins that he left.
That's where Rob got the intro strike from too, and how awful that looked. It looked like a freaking 4-year-old threw a 7-pound skee ball at the pins. It wasn't even a good strike. Damn it. Just
George
saying, Rob.
and George and Kevin, I have a question for both of you guys, and this is a question that I always ask all of my guests, and you can give me multiples. I don't care. I understand that with the amount of bowling balls that are out, with the amount of bowling balls that we drill, that this may change over the course of time, or probably has changed 15 times in the last 10 years. What's your favorite balls of all time and why? And for both of your biggest wins, I don't know, George, if it's a regional or an Eagle, Kevin, if it's a junior title or the See You Next Tuesday tour or whatever it was.
That's the one. That's the one.
But I want to know what are your favorite bowling balls, and you could tell me what, and tell me why. Tell everybody why.
Go for it, Kevin.
My favorite's probably the Victory Road Pearl. I've had, I don't know how many 300s and 800s with that ball. It's just symmetrical, smooth, predictable. I don't know. It just matched up well with me. So that's probably my favorite ball of all time.
It's also the greatest smelling ball of all time.
Maple syrup.
Maple syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah, my balls smell like maple syrup too, ladies.
Ocho!
It's hard to pick one like favorite ball. That's tough.
Stephanie
I would
says Eagles plastic ball.
How about that Quantum?
I mean, I'm left-handed. I should say Purple Hammer, but
I don't think I've ever seen you throw a purple hammer.
V2, original V2.
Oh, nice pick. Nice pick. So funny, you go with a solid symmetric and you go with a pearl symmetric. Interesting.
And I don't throw any symmetric balls nowadays. Like I think I have 2 in my bag.
Yeah,
Crazy how my game.
I'm the same way, man. I only have a stealth and an ocean vibe because I threw my dad's while I was home. I would have never even thought to drill them simply because they're symmetric. But ironically, one of my favorite balls of all time is the C-System Versamax, which is another solid symmetric ball. So
ball's good.
Rad Rob, how about you, considering you're the 4th lefty of this dynamic 5-some here?
When I was bowling, well, Johnny, fuck, you know my equipment. I've had the same equipment since 2000 or since 1993.
So it's the Swamp Monster or the Teal Rhino Pro?
I hate the Swamp Monster. It's the Teal Rhino Pro or the Forest Green Quantum, the original. But on the bowling game they play now, the Quantum Bias is probably my favorite right now. But
Yeah, I can't understand how the Bias Pearl is so good in the video game when it would have been better serving as a boat anchor in real life.
yeah,
I did not like that ball.
Oh, what is it, like 40 pounds? Then I could throw it at least.
Yeah, the blue one. I thought it was it was pretty good with you for me if you to knock the shine off it. It was a good controlled motion. I actually just wasn't a fan of the Bias line at all, other than the fact that the original one was white, and I always wanted an AMF XS, and here, lo and behold, comes out a white bowling ball. George, when you won the Eagles, everybody that bowls at any level, whether it's amateur, professional, house hack, whatever you want to call it, Ochoville, what did that feel like? And do you remember, well, first off, what pieces did you use there? What city were you in when you won the Eagles? And like, how did that feel when it was over? Did you bowl? I want to win an Eagle really bad. And I think that any bowler that bowls, that goes to nationals, has that somewhere inside of them. What did that feel like?
It was my second year actually ever bowling nationals. I bowled the first year, and I think I bowled 1,500. I was absolutely terrible. So to bowl good the next year and actually lead on our team, I think I bowled like 730 or something. I threw a vapor zone. And I was bowling with Steve Fair and those guys. I mean, a really, really great team. So to take over the lead, I didn't really know what it meant to win an Eagle because I had never bowled a tournament that big. But after we actually won, it kind of like hit me like, oh, you really did something cool here. Like, this is not like your local run-of-the-mill 4-game sweeper. Like, I didn't even know what an Eagle was. I mean,
hell yeah. My dad's when my dad I don't know if they came like this, but my dad also has 2 Eagles, but they were gold belt buckles with diamonds in them, and it had
they
the
definitely
ABC
left the
logo.
diamonds out of mine.
Yeah. And he's still got them at home in the trophy case, and that's pretty cool to look at. And granted, I am on a team that is perfectly capable of taking some of those birds home. And I unfortunately, my best year ever at nationals was the year that I could not bowl with my team because I was the minister at my sister's wedding. I actually wed her and her husband, and I wound up bowling with Ari Wilson, and I shot 2005 with 9 deuces. It's my best ever nationals. Wow. I get back on my team this year. I'm like, I'm in the same building. I'm ready. I'm all pumped. 18-20. Stink.
Hey, let's give a quick shout out to Megan McGinley. It's her birthday today. Nobody knows that because she's not in the chat right now, but we want to say she's a big supporter of the show. Megan McGinley, it's her birthday today. I don't know how old she is, but that's not important. And he struck out. Matt Carpenter just struck out. You idiot! It should have been
You're gonna piss off Dave again.
Dave, it should have been a freaking.
Don't do that. He's taking his time to watch the game and us. Can you stop spoiling it?
I'm watching DirecTV and it's like 15 seconds behind Ocho. I see him freak out and I look at the TV and I'm like, there's fucking nothing going on. George, how long have you known Johnny? Where'd you guys first meet?
Oh, that's a good question.
Man, I've known him for a long time.
These are tough questions, Rob.
These are layups, man. They're supposed to initiate the conversation.
This is why this podcast is hard hitting. I don't remember
when we first met. I just knew his dad was one of my favorite bowlers ever on earth.
I think we can all agree with that, right?
I love it.
It's easy to maintain. You know what's crazy is we always, I'm going to steal Rob and Big Mike's patch pirates here, but we always tease everybody in the bowling world for everything that we do. But if there's one thing that the company of Brunswick has gotten right over time is they offer contracts to just genuine good people. And the people that are contracted, especially under Brunswick, yes, I'm tooting their horn because they've supplied food on my family's table for 50 some odd years. So I'm going to kiss their ass as much as I'd like to, especially on my show.
That doesn't sound like ass kissing. That actually sounds like a noble thing, really, which isn't in a corporate world is literally unheard of.
Well, sure. George is a Brunswick staffer and always goes out of his way to say hello. Always goes out of his way to give credit where credit's deserved. Never opens his mouth negatively about anybody. And that's and he's just thoroughly enjoyable to watch bowl. I mean, it is. I put a post of Chris Barnes on Facebook last night and put poetry in motion. That's what George is too. And I can actually say that because I just watched him bowl his second consecutive 800 last night, and he did it next to me while I shot 660. But it's he's got the right mentality for this Brunswick family, and so does Kevin. And so I would say that our relationship, like many others in the bowling world, I think got a lot stronger when we were on the same team. We were always, how you doing, bro? Good to see you. You look great. You're throwing it great. But we were never representing the same brand with the same morals when we're out on those lanes. So I think that, plus us now living in Vegas, all three of us living in Vegas, I think that's really attributed to the continued relationship that we so share to this day.
Absolutely. I would agree with that 100%.
Yep. Jordan Allo, Kevin, we'll ask you this question. Jordan Allo wants to know the comment of the sim versus asim. Why do you prefer one over the other? I mean, we can all answer, but if who's ever got an answer to that one, go.
I got a great answer.
Okay, do it, Coach.
No, I don't know what the fuck that even means.
That's hilarious.
Go ahead, Kev.
I mean, I prefer symmetrical because it's more predictable for me. Anyways, that's what I generally use. Benchmark ball, game breaker, victory rope pearl. I don't usually use asim till lanes break down and I gotta get in a little bit, but I prefer symmetrical.
I'm the complete opposite of that.
So am I. That's why I like asking the question.
This was the point he said. I wanted to bring two lefties who we all have different styles. So this is a fun little thing. Yeah. Even though I don't know what you're saying, but
I definitely prefer all ASIMs.
Now, George, get this.
Ball that I use a lot is a purple hammer.
George, get this. Kevin, correct me if I'm wrong. Jason Boyer's from the same neck of the woods as you before you lived here, right?
Absolutely.
Jason also says he likes sim more because it's more predictable and able to trick it more. Again, I am also completely on the opposite side of that. I wonder if it has something to do with maybe what we or you are used to. Because when I go back to the East Coast, you know what? When I was back home, the balls that rolled the best for me were a Bigfoot. My Black Widow Ghost always rolls well. But the Bigfoot was the ball that really, really rolled well back east for me. Out here on the West Coast, I cannot throw. I'm very uncomfortable throwing symmetric, especially in the early going out here, because I can't manipulate it and I can't trick it. It's too volatile down lane for me. It's too angular. For me, the asymmetrical cores, they still get through the heads, but when they change direction forward. They're not going sideways, boomerangy. And but that's interesting that of the four of us here, between Jason's comment and the three of us, George, you said you were more along me, right? Because I always see you throw asim stuff.
Yeah, the asim stuff is just, and it could be because my game is a little different now. But 15 years ago, I threw a bunch of game breakers and V2s. So, it was different. I was a little bit. I didn't know what I was doing then. I had a lot more of all power and really didn't know how to harness it. But now that I can't do the things I used to do, I need a little help on those bigger cores and combined with these covers that we have now, they allow me to look a lot better than I am.
There's the stud. Oh, there goes the stud. Yeah. What's good, homie?
Johnny, do me a favor, just for the people that may not know exactly what an asymmetrical ball and a symmetrical ball is. Can you just kind of put it in layman's terms?
Yeah, the core inside the bowling ball, the engine of the bowling ball. If it's symmetrical, it's symmetrical. Like it's the exact same shape on both sides. So,
Right.
or completely around it. And it will only the center of gravity and the top of the weight block, known as the pin, will be identified with markings on the exterior of the ball. So you'll see the riser pin, let's say it's just a little circle, and then the center of gravity could be any kind of small niche in the ball. An asymmetric core has a side of the ball that doesn't match, or a side of the core that doesn't match the other side. And what you can identify those by seeing not only the riser pin and the center of gravity, but also a marking for the mass bias of the ball. And typically, when you drill an asymmetrical ball, the placement of the pin and the mass bias is the main focus, whereas on a symmetrical ball, you focus more on the relationship of the pin to the center of gravity. In other words, on an asymmetrical ball, you could basically cover up the center of gravity and you would lay it out using the other two markings, the mass bias and the pin. And wherever the CG falls, the CG falls, as long as the mass is where it's supposed to be. I don't really know how to dummy it down any more than
don't
that.
nod your head, Rob, because you don't nod your head.
I know
Nod
exactly
your
what he's
head.
talking about. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Because you're playing virtual bowling 2022, maybe.
Well, he's obviously doing well. He's a 20-time champion already. He's
Yeah,
had the
so
game
is
for a month.
freaking Derek Mustard, who
21
his
now,
dad
actually.
owns a damn bowling alley.
Never in a
can do
million
that now, it
years
seems.
thought we were going to talk about mustard seed on this show. That's
That's gonna be the new inside
That's
joke
hilarious.
from here on out. Yeah, no, I
Thanks
have
for the
actually
question,
21.
Jordan.
I have 21 titles and 11 majors now, so I'm just catching up to Belmonte. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah,
There you
you're
go.
doing a fantastic job, and you've done it all with one ball. It seems like.
No, I mean, I threw a couple 300s with the Black Widow Legend Pearl the other day. But anyway, it's a really
JP,
good
this
game.
is serious questions. Are any of my bowling
No.
balls asymmetrical?
I have no idea. I honestly don't even know. Shout out to Derek Machad for getting me hooked up with that game, because now I'm addicted to it and I play it every single day. But
Johnny, I got a quick question for real.
Yeah.
Are any of my bowling balls asymmetrical?
Not that I know of, unless you still have that gravity shift from Storm. I think that
Purple
ball
one
may
I
be
got,
asym.
yeah.
But no, you have a wrecker, which is not, which is a
Okay.
great ball, but it's not asymmetric. I don't even know what else you have.
That
Aren't those
green
your
one.
only two balls? You have a Steelers Visible. And what else?
The green one. It's like green and kind of purple.
it's a green
You
one.
always say that. You always say that, but you don't have a green and purple ball.
I do. Shit,
Go get it,
Megan
Alex.
knows what it is. Megan, what bowling ball do I have if you're here still? Shit. I don't know.
Kevin,
Do
while-
Go ahead.
Kevin and George bowl with you in any leagues? Do you guys bowl together or not?
we all bowl Tuesday nights.
I gotcha.
George,
Monday,
you don't bowl.
Thursday.
Monday we bowl the sport league together. George, you don't bowl Thursday night trios, do you?
No. I just bowl Monday nights and Tuesday nights.
Yeah, so we're all together Mondays and Tuesdays.
I did
Johnny,
bowl
you're-
Thursday, but they got the league.
Yeah.
Johnny, you remember the Wide World of Sports, which used to come on after the Pro Bowling Tour on ABC. And the beginning always said, what was their slogan? I remember the agony of defeat. Do you remember what the first part of it was?
The thrill of victory.
The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. So on Saturday, you were riding a super high because you were in the zone, and Monday, not so much. What happened Monday night?
I have a very, very hard time on that pattern, and we've bowled on it for 5 or 6 consecutive weeks now. It was another reason why I wanted Kevin on the show, because Kevin bowls really, really well on that pattern. I'm used to old cheetah, so I'm used to getting on the rail. I'm used to seeing friction on the rail. I'm used to not being afraid to throw it. I'm never afraid to look in the gutter when I'm bowling on cheetah. I'm afraid to look in the gutter now because I know I can't just feed it there. And the other thing that I'm noticing that happens on Monday is by the time practice is over, the majority, this again goes back to lane transition. The majority of the right-handers that are killing them on cheetah, they're playing around 10. They're at the arrows, which if you even tried to do that on old cheetah, you'd pick 3 off either side.
Yeah. You couldn't play there. You had to play the gutter.
Right. So my brain says the right thing to do is get as far left as possible. I don't care if I have to throw plastic on route to do it. When I try and stay more, let's say up 6, 7, 8, as long as I don't tip my hand around the side of it at all, as long as I don't throw it too hard, so I'm like passively aggressive with it, then it's got a chance to get to the hole. But the minute I get through it and like really, really try and execute a good bowling shot in my brain, what a good bowling shot is, I get 6. It's like so I go there with that mentality already. Like I'm unsure what to do. Hell, I even brought 2 new bowling balls this week just to try. I've brought 9 or 10 bowling balls into that league already. But I'm having a hard time. And now we're gonna feed right into Scorpion, which maybe I'll have enough hold that I can at least do something I enjoy doing. But I fear that I'm going to continue to go down because typically as the pattern gets longer, the righties bowl better. So
they're tough.
Yeah, they're very, very tricky, man. What do you guys? I mean, let's get both of your takes on that because that's actually a good combo. And Rob, let me know when it's time to go.
We got about 10, 15 minutes.
All right, so I think that's a good topic. What do you guys see on Monday?
They're hard. Shit. I've been throwing 2 different purple hammers. I got my Kentucky one and a Mexico one, and I kind of found something like right up 5, 6. I mean, trying to be kind of soft, trying to like get around it a little bit. The old days, I used to just throw it as hard as I could at the gutter and watch it hook off of it. I tried that the very first week. I think I bowled 170 every game. Yep. But I'm about like 211 in the league, which is pretty good. I mean, they're just in, South Point pair to pair is a nightmare. You just never know what you're going to get. So
100%.
I try to dumb it down. I bring 2 urethane balls and that's it. Like I don't go away from it. I just try to make those work.
Yep.
I tried to throw resin 4 or 5 frames one time and it was miserable. So
Kev, what about you?
Kevin kind of like has that idea too.
Me and George and I just bowled a couple of weeks ago. Beat the brakes off me, but we bowled. I went 230 the first game, got a little swirly, go 140, but and then I go 230, 2-0 after that. But pitch black, 3, 4, 5. It's just a speed control thing with me. I mean, It's there. If I get too firm and I get it out early, it's not coming back. But yeah, it's definitely a speed control thing. Definitely urethane has to have surface. I hit it with like 500, but just got to stay soft.
But if you throw it too soft toward the gutter, it'll hook immediately. You'll get 5 through the middle. They're just weird. They're
absolutely.
Just weird.
I cannot throw reactive on that at all, and I can't get it in. It's gone. But
well,
Ocho, are you usually soft or are you hard? That answers my question.
He looks pretty firm.
Yes. I wanted to kind of bring something up, and we've talked about how well or not well the PBA and USBC kind of promote everything. My local center that I bowl at is about 20 minutes away from me in Smyrna, Tennessee. And about 3-4 weeks ago, they had a PBA 50 event, and I had no fucking clue that it was there. No ads, no promotion, nothing on Facebook. They don't update their website. If I didn't actually go check PBA news,
the winner. There you go.
Nice.
Got it.
If I didn't check the PBA website, I wouldn't even know, what the schedule was. Walter Ray was there. I mean, a lot of your top, bowlers for the senior tour were there, and I had no idea. I would have gone and watched it. It baffles me that, you're trying to grow a sport, yet the local center will not do anything to help you do that. Do you guys? Well, you guys are in Vegas, so things might be a little different. But I mean, in your experience, we'll start with you, Johnny. Do local centers typically advertise PBA events in your experience?
Not that I know of.
No. Kevin?
I mean, every once in a while, you'll see a sign at South Point that says, "We have no lanes for a tournament."
That's it.
Yeah, there's nothing going on.
Yeah, that's about it. Richie, how you doing? Good evening, Mr.
And
Villanueva.
people wonder
I've
why
only
this
seen one
sport is
bowling alley.
dying or skill.
I've only seen one bowling alley advertise the PBA 50. They hit Vision Lanes up in Michigan, and Steve Klein, he owns the bowling alley. He's one of the best bowling alley owners in the world. But he posted for 4 or 5 months on social media, and they had a really big turnout to watch those guys bowl. Like, it was awesome. But other than that, no, you'll never know they're coming.
So my question is, how do you expect to get back to where you were in the glory days, or even just try to grow the sport naturally? If you don't advertise, if you don't let people say, hey, the best bowlers in the world are going to be here at such and such lanes and blah, 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 $10 at the door, come check us out. Like, see what it's all about. Back in the day, like before social media, there's always at least TV ads or newspaper ads saying, okay, the Greater Hartford Open's coming to Bradley Bowl in Windsor Locks, Connecticut. But now when you got social media, you got Twitter, you got TikTok, you got Facebook.
You think it should be blasted everywhere, pretty much.
You would think,
and that doesn't take
right?
much. It doesn't
With
take much.
Facebook
It's not
groups
even
and all that.
anything.
And I heard nothing about it. It pisses me off that how lazy, especially. I don't want to harp on the PBA, but I mean, I want to harp on the local Smyrna Bowling Center. Like, what the fuck, man? Just like run a Facebook ad. It costs like $25 to reach like 1,200 people or whatever. Like, put something out there saying we have the PBA 50 tour coming. Walter Ray's gonna be here.
Yeah, we are.
That's because they don't make no money from it.
That's the main
They're
thing.
not going to advertise any money. They make any money, make any money from it. But they'll advertise bowling, Cosmic bowling for sure.
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
no, they
absolutely.
Do for sure.
Because you got to remember. I mean, I'm not defending them in any way, shape, or form, but the only money that they can make by spending money to get people into that center while the event is going on is if people buy food and if the bar is open, which half of the time the bar ain't open at the times that they're bowling the tournament anyway.
Yeah.
The tournament, if the squad starts at 8 a.m., there's not going to be a bartender there at 8 a.m. for a professional bowling tournament that nobody's drinking alcohol at.
Well, how the hell do golf courses make money then? If the guys tee off at 7 a.m., but there's still a gallery of people.
The bar is open at 7 a.m. at the golf course too.
Yeah.
Then we got to start making some changes.
And are you talking about just regular golf, like going out with the guys on a Sunday afternoon?
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about when the tour's in town. I've been to one event and it was on a Friday, and I caught this shitty freaking tee off time, and it was still the greatest freaking time I had in a long time.
I mean,
the bar's open as soon as the sun's up.
There's merchandise for sale. They have sponsors like Mercedes and Workday and NetJets, and they're just
you can't tell me that a fan wouldn't want to go to the pro shop and buy a bowling ball that they just watched this dude just throw. You know what I mean? Like, even for the proprietor of that place, like, there's got to be some freaking missing aspect there.
Yeah, there is, and I'm going to relate it to this guy's motto, to Mr. Olympia's motto. The only way to build muscle is to consistently weightlift. You can go weightlift 3 consecutive days and you will see nothing. If you go weightlift every day for 3 years, you will see things. If you weightlift for 8 years, you will see things. But you have to every day consistently do something, same times, eat at the same times, drink at the same time, sleep at the same time, right? For 36 years, the PBA was on ABC at 3 p.m. every single Saturday for the entire year. So you would know early March, they'd be in North Brunswick for my dad's tournament. You knew that on Easter, they would be at Eastway Lanes in Erie. You knew when the Quaker State 250 was. You knew when the TSC was. Then they lost that contract. Now it's on ESPN. They put the ladies on at fucking midnight, or 3 a.m. on ESPN2. Like just shut it. It was the most disgusting thing they could have ever done to the women.
When you get home from the stripper bar, you go watch ladies bowling, I guess. Maybe it's or something.
ESPN to CBS to this time to that time. Now you got it on Sunday up against football. Like the consistency in the sport went away. In showing the sport completely went away. And now people don't even know where to look for it, and they don't even know.
And you have to look for it too, which has become the problem. Where no one, again, 1 o'clock on Sunday, you're going to watch a football game, and 4 o'clock on Sunday, you're going to watch a football game. So it's like the things are consistent. And I get that now. I totally see that. And that's a great point.
I'm not sure if we lost Kevin, but if we did, Kevin, it was an absolute honor having you here. We're getting close to wrapping up anyway, but I'm glad you came out and George, you as well. I mean, the three of us can wrap up the show. A special thanks to Kevin for being here. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at League.
And what a
GG3.
great last name.
Yeah, hell yeah.
No
We got
kidding.
beers,
GG3,
we got cheats, we got everything I need.
Your presence is always accepted here. Always feel free to pop in on this show whenever you want to rant, rave, do whatever you want to do. We're here every single Wednesday, and love you, bro. Congrats on back-to-back 800s. You're certainly making that Defender hybrid look pretty impressive thus far.
We'll do it again for sure.
All right, man. Say hi to the family for me. Give everybody hugs and kisses.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, George.
Guys.
Appreciate it.
Troy, thank you very much for the great bowling post, man. It was definitely a night that I will never ever forget. What two class acts those two guys are. I want to take a minute to talk to you guys about these two guys. They really bring their heart along with their talent to the lanes, whether they're practicing bowling league, bowling tournaments. I mean, George is a bowler. That is his job, man. I mean, the guy bowls everything, and he is. Oh, good. Kevin is still here.
Oh shit.
I wasn't. Oh, we can't hear him now though.
My laptop died. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. We were actually we just gave you a nice sign off because we're about to wrap up the show, but
I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you so much for being here, dude, and we're looking forward to having you on again.
Sounds good. Good night, guys.
So
Thanks,
have
Kevin.
a good one, man. Say hi to the kids.
Got it.
Hey, Beans, how you doing, bro? Long time no see. Hope all is well. But yeah, those are just two really good eggs, those guys, and it's a pleasure to call them friends and to honestly admire their talent on a weekly basis. It's really cool.
To kind of put a bow on my little rant, and Johnny, you're probably best to answer this because Ocho's so busy he doesn't have time to kind of dig into this stuff. But look, if you want to bring people to your bowling center, you should advertise. If you let people know that the PBA is here, or the PBA 50 is here, some of the greatest senior bowlers in the entire world, they came here to Smyrna Bowling Center. So you should want to come here and bowl in our tournaments, or bowl in our leagues, or bowl on the lanes that the pros bowled. It helps your business. It's counterproductive. What the fuck? What in the actual fuck were they thinking by not running a Facebook ad or putting something in the fucking... they have a group on Facebook, or join the PBA group, or join the local Tennessee fucking schmuck group. I mean, it makes no sense that they don't advertise the best in the world going to be here, so you need to be here too, because you never know what's going to happen. And when the tournament's over, say, the best in the world, we're here, and now we want you. Come bowl our leagues. Come bowl our tournaments. It's fucking bullshit, and you're never going to grow the sport unless you fucking get it out there.
I thoroughly respect your stance, and I get the rant. And I'll be honest, man, I would have never heard of Bethpage Black Golf Course.
That's the first thing I thought of. As soon as he said that in 2002.
I would have never ever even known what Bethpage Black was. But I would love to go play that golf course now.
Because it's a Muni, because the U.S. Open was there. That's the first fucking thing I thought of too. Shit.
Absolutely. But when I go and play Bethpage Black, it's going to cost me $150 to $300 for the round, and I'm going to have to book it in 6 months. 6 months in advance, most likely, to play. Bowling center proprietors, when a PBA regional comes into their facility, they lose money. They lose money hand over fist when they host a tournament because there is no leagues for however long the duration of the tournament. There is no open bowling. There are no sales at the snack bar. There is nothing like that. Thanks, Brooklyn Rob. Love you, bro. Yeah, pretty crazy night, bro. It must have been the juice I got after you were on our show. So thanks, homie.
Well, like you said, like I said,
I do agree.
Gas stations don't make money off gas. They make money off concessions. Bring them in, fucking feed them. They'll sit here for a while. I mean, they have to eat. They're going to be here for a few hours. They can make money that way. They also charge at the door.
It wouldn't crush anybody, especially in the social media era that we live in, if a proprietor really did want to get fans in the door to admire the pros, yeah, go put some boosted posts on across all social media platforms. Let at least the locals know, hey, if you want to come down to our bowling alley, Norm Duke, Pete Weber, and I don't know, Leno Monticelli are going to be here in Smyrna, Tennessee. Walter Ray. They're all going to be here this week. Fine. But again, I'm always trying to be neutral. I'm trying to look at it from both sides. When Carolier Lanes hosted the Johnny Petraglia Open, they used to get 5,200 spectators through the turnstiles throughout the week. They also had memorabilia booths. They had 2 snack bars, 2 banging, blazing bars. They had celebrity pro-ams where they brought in high-quality celebrities to come bowl. Things to bring people into that building is what made that tournament so great. Danny Jackson's Incredibowl in Kansas. That place has history. It's great. It's got his Cardinals memorabilia in that beautiful restaurant. There's Riviera Lanes. They had the Wall of Fame that showcased all the greatest bowlers that have ever walked through these doors past the greatest bowlers of all time. Now that entire wall is covered by arcade games.
Right.
The preservation of history, it's almost like they've dusted it under the rug. Like, well, bowling's a dying breed anyway, so we're just going to ride out the wave until there is no more water left to even create one. And that's what sucks. You're trying to get people into a venue knowing full well it can't be lucrative for you.
But it could be. It could be in the long run. If you get people in there and get them excited about bowling, maybe they will come back. But again,
like you said, remember the consistency. They're going to do it once, and then after a month, it's going to fall flat. If you do it every week, if every bowling alley followed the same model, maybe there's a chance that it starts to take off. And the fact that they're losing money kind of sucks, but I still, the duration of a tournament is what, 4 days, something like that?
Well, a regional is typically only 2. A PBA event will run anywhere from 5 to 6.
All right, so I could see it being a benefit for a PBA tournament, but a regional I kind of get. Like, now you're losing the 2 days of, especially if it's a Saturday and a Sunday, which is when the idiots want to open bowl and get drunk or something like that. But
exactly, that's real quick, Steve. Thank you for the congratulations, man. It's I'll say it over and over again. It's a night that I will absolutely never forget. So thank you. And I know you were in that field too. And honest to God, you were one of the guys I thought that was going to beat me. So that means a lot coming from you.
But if you have that on just a Saturday and a Sunday and you take that much of a beating, then your business model is already bad. Like that it almost feels like there's such a cause and effect that counteracted this thing. Go ahead, dude. Families and kids want to go bowling on the weekends. They want to go out and have pizza and put on house shoes and bowl with cosmic lights and bumpers. I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 people that walk into a building in Smyrna, Tennessee are not walking in saying, oh, the seniors are bowling. I can't wait to see who's bowling this week. They're walking in saying, what do you mean we can't bowl? There's 10 lanes right there. That's what the people say. I'm sorry we're having a professional tournament. A professional tournament? There's 26 lanes here, and those 10 are open right now. You're kicking us out. They'll never come back. Ever. It's a double-edged sword. It's such a sin. It's so sad because there's no exclusivity in a bowling center like there is thank you. Like there is at Bethpage Black. Right.
Everybody and their mother wants to play Augusta. But unless you are powerful, and I'm not talking about just rich, you have to be rich and powerful in some respect to play Augusta Golf Course. Everybody wants to play Augusta. People don't even want to go to the National Bowling Stadium because it's a shit show right outside the National Bowling Stadium. Our palace is located in one of like the dirtiest, grungiest places you could possibly be.
Technically, Augusta isn't that far off, really, because Augusta, Georgia, there's a quick trip on the corner, and then all of a sudden you get into the land of Oz when you go through the Azalea lane.
Exactly.
But can we also just compliment Johnny on like first sounding like the guy from Look Who's Talking, and then sounding like freaking Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High with it.
Both great
movies. There's lanes right there. Like you just nailed every freaking the demographic. You're like, these guys can't blow the bastard stole my candy. And then you're like, bro, there's friggin' 3 lanes over here. What are you saying I can't bowl? You nailed
candy? The bastard stole my candy. I wish Susie was watching because she'd be dying laughing right now.
Some fan, huh?
Well, I appreciate your explanation, Johnny, and that does kind of shed some
And
light.
Rob, to make you happier, if everybody thought like you, bowling would be just fine.
Yeah, that's true.
But people don't.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And so
these are the things I think about when the power goes out.
Right. Yeah.
These are the thoughts that kept me out of the really good schools.
Or when the television is broken.
George Carlin. Ocho knows what I'm talking about. All right, guys. I appreciate both of you being here each and every week, or at least when we're here.
Do your friends have Twitter handles, or we didn't even do anything?
Well, they've been scrolling at the bottom for a while, but for those listening on the audio podcast,
no, what about the guys that were on the show? We got freaking Colonel De Beers and
I don't
George Carlin was on here.
I probably should have asked their socials. Maybe we can find out what George Mustard's fucking Twitter handle.
I was just gonna say we even got Robert Mushter /
Robert Mustard. Johnny is at JPJR07. I am at Rad Rob Gaming. And Ocho, what's yours? At the DR Ocho.
Excellent, Ocho.
Go Astros! Right now, it's top of the 5th. It's 1-1. It's a defensive struggle, as we like to say. Oh, by the way, who are the Jets playing this week, Johnny?
I can find out right now.
Oh, come on! You're a Jets fan. You don't know?
It's way too early to root for them. I still can't believe we beat the Packers. I'm still trying to like understand that, you know.
I am too.
It looks like they're playing the Broncos at 1:05 p.m. on October 23rd.
And the Broncos are disgustingly horrible, so you guys should trounce them thoroughly.
That means we'll lose 21-6.
Russell Wilson is so bad, dude. He is so bad. There's nothing to worry about. Oh, Joe, who are the Steelers playing this weekend?
I think he may have fallen asleep.
Is he
frozen? There's no way he could be sitting that still.
Damn it! Oh,
man, it was good.
I really thought you were frozen.
Dude, that hurt. We got Miami on Sunday night.
Oh, they suck now, too.
So my God, I couldn't breathe. Oh, God. You know how hard it is not to flex for freaking
30,
28 seconds? Holy shit.
You got me on that one. You literally, like, and your eyes are squinty anyway, so I can't tell if they're open.
I had to hold the pose.
So.
I could strike a pose. Nothing to it.
All right, guys. Everybody here on Facebook, Facebook Live, and our YouTube channel, Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Thank you guys for hanging out here. Thanks for all your comments. I like the new layout here in Restream. We can see all the comments on the side. I don't have to put them up one by one because I'm lazy as fuck anyway. And Johnny always yells at me.
We would never know that.
Yeah. But I like the new format, so I guess we're going to stick with it. It was live. Everybody got in. Nobody had a problem. So I'm digging it. And it looks good, too. It really looks good.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks to Restream. And fuck you, StreamYard. You need to up your game. Anyway.
I like it.
And then we won't say fuck you when you up your game.
If you guys want to listen to any of this that you missed, you can check out the audio version. Drops every Friday morning at 7 a.m. Central, 8 Eastern. Anywhere podcasts are found. Literally anywhere. Ojo, did you find any podcasts this week?
No, I wasn't looking.
Still?
No, didn't find one. No, I wasn't looking. I'll start looking next week.
Anywhere podcasts are found, you will find this show. Johnny, Ocho, appreciate you guys as always. We'll be back next week for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.